So without wasting much time, let's move to the next panel. So if you have any other questions, panelists will be available during the tea breaks, lunch break. You can have discussions or further discussions with them. So the next panel is on decentralized and source level management of organics. So this is a vital area that focuses on managing organic waste right at its source, whether it is household level, community level, or institution level, before it becomes a larger issue. So our speakers will shed light on innovative strategies and case studies that demonstrate the effectiveness of the model. So let's welcome our next moderator, Vamsi, Sankar Kapilavai. I'm okay. Is it right?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's right.
From Citizen, Consumer and Civic Action Group, Chennai. So over to you, Vamsi.
Thank you, Nirmala. Good morning, everyone. I think in the previous session, Mr. Manoj has brought one point that where he wants to switch off the air conditioner in his room and he couldn't do it. That brought me to an interesting thought in my mind, which is a biggest debate: individual changes versus systemic changes, where the system is designed such that even you want to change, you are helpless. So I think it's highly important. While we understand that while individual changes are important, but the scale at which the mitigation can happen at the systemic changes is unmatched. So how we can do the systemic changes? Because we are brought in certain kind of systems which we got stuck into it. So how can these systemic changes happen? One is through governance reforms, and one is through policy reforms. So when I say policy reforms, with the current model, which we are struck with the centralized, inefficient, linear system, and move to a system which is fair, which is inclusive, and which has ultimate respect for the resources. When I say ultimate respect for the resources, to keep the resource at the highest level status as possible throughout, we are using it in the system. So for this to happen, we need to show alternatives. For the policy reforms to happen, we should show the alternatives to them. And these alternatives should be at different scale, whether you can take at village level, or whether it's at ward level, or at different levels. So exactly this panel will tell you the different experiences they dealt with in managing organic waste using the different aerobic composting models at a ward level, at gram panchayat level, at a city level like Mumbai, and also at barangay level as well. So without further delay, I would like to invite Ms. Kalpana Andhare onto the stage. Ms. Kalpana is associated with Stree Mukti Sanghatana since 2009, where she does awareness on SWM for waste workers, and also on different ethics related to waste management. And she also has masters in social works, and she also worked in HR roles in various MNCs in the past. So big round of applause for Ms. Kalpana Andhare, please. And it gives me great pleasure to introduce my second speaker, who is Mr. Dr. P.N. Damodaran, and currently is working as a head of solid waste management division at Integrated Rural Technology Center. And he has more than 10 years of experience in planning, in coordinating, and in researching in various areas, which is solid waste management, liquid waste management, soil microbiology, soil ecology, and microbiotechnology. So big round of applause for Dr. P. Damodaran, please. And the next speaker on the panel is Ms.Sherryl Nolasco. She is serving as Barangay Chairman of Barangay Potrero since 2004. And under her leadership, the community became a zero waste community in 2014. And her commitment to sustainable practices and community resilience has earned Barangay Potrero several awards, which is the champion of best in solid waste management in Metro Manila, and the recognitions in disaster preparedness and emergency response. So welcome, Ms. Sherryl Nolasco. And the final member of the panel is Ms. Sandya Narayanan, who worked as a finance professional for close to 2 decades and has been working as a member of Solid Waste Management Roundtable in Bangalore, which is a collective of practitioners in Bengaluru for the last 15 years. And she has extensively involved in policy advocacy, all related to all aspects of solid waste management. And she's also part of different technical committees at the BBMP and district municipal authorities. So big round of applause for Ms. Sandya Narayanan, please. Yeah. So without, so as I told you, we will be having, they'll be showing different levels of decentralized management of organics at different levels: ward level, gram panchayat level, city level, and at the barangays level. So now I would like to ask Ms. Kalpana there to do the presentation.
Hello, hello. On behalf of Sri Mukti Sanghatana, I welcome you all and thank you organizers for such a lovely opportunity to bring us all together to discuss such vital issues. I'm very happy and there is something special I would like to tell you over here. This is a moment of Sihavalokan. Sihavalokan is taking a pause before going ahead, turning back and looking at what you have done, taking a stock of things. So, my topic today is exactly the same. And to tell you, I'm very happy and proud to tell you that next month, Stree Mukti Sanghatana is turning 50. It's our golden jubilee year. And Parisar Vikas will be 25-year young old organization. So I have in next 8 minutes, I have to cover a big span of 50 years, 25 years. So it's a difficult task, but most of you know about us. We are there on the websites. So whatever I couldn't cover, our founder, President Jyoti Mapsekar is here. She will cover later on in her session. So I'm relaxed that way. So should we go next? Yeah. So this is Stree Mukti Sanghatana with awareness, training, what you can say, daycare center, because women don't come alone as an individual. They come with their families. So when you say you want to empower them, you want to help them, you have to help their families also. So we have taken a very holistic approach when we talk about empowering urban poorest of poor women. Next, please. And when you talk about urban poorest of poor women, we came across waste pickers. And in 1998, with the help of Municipal Corporation of Greater Mumbai, SMS launched Parisar Vikas. Parisar Vikas is neighborhood development program for waste pickers. And we call these waste pickers Parisar Bhagini, sisters of neighborhood. Next, please. Yeah. This program aimed at organizing waste pickers to form self-help groups, provide vocational training, health and counseling services. One of the objectives of Parisar Vikas is to create zero waste localities in a mega city. And for this, value addition to waste pickers' work was necessary. Next, please. Yeah. So we are from Mumbai, and I don't think I should spend time in describing Mumbai, but in short, it's a home for 13.06 million people. I'm not counting floating population. And the waste collected, not generated, but collected is 63,000 million tons per day. And out of that, 72.60 million tons are wet organic waste. So, if you have to deal with this waste, we have to work at source. So SMS engaged with composting started with various small and big zero waste projects. SMS started training training in composting and fine segregation to first few groups of waste pickers. In 2001, Tata Power Colony, that is located in Chembur, awarded a contract to manage their waste. This led us to a major scale up and expansions. And this soon taught us what works and what doesn't work. Yeah. So we kept on experimenting with reducing waste, collaborated with BARC. See, because we were not the technologies. So we took help of bioscientists from BARC to develop different types of compost and culture for home composting baskets. Home composting basket, as you can see, is a small basket, and you are generating a whole ecosystem in that small place. So we developed these magic baskets. It is a very compact solution to composting at source at home level. So that's the very first step. Here, the picture you see is our manual for composting. It's there on our website. So for details, you can always go through it. So we promoted and demonstrated these baskets at every possible opportunities. Baskets are very reasonably priced, and they come with a kit consisting of culture, rake, and instruction manual that is shown at the side. So far, we have sold more than 5,000 baskets. Thus, Magic Baskets has become an entrepreneurship venture for a cooperative. That's a big step ahead, because we talk about empowerment, and empowerment without business is difficult. So, larger scale, we have constructed compost pits, very scientifically designed. Since I have been shown the card, I'm just rapidly going ahead. So, SMS has developed good composting pits which are still working. We'll go ahead. Yeah. These are the tumblers. When you have waste around 5 to 10 kgs, these tumblers are very suitable, easy to handle and maintain also. Next. So this is a process. You segregate waste, put it in a compost, close the lid properly and just roll it. And the compost pit is fit for that day. Next. So we didn't opt for electricity operated, what you say, OWC machine, that is organic waste composters. But we embraced a newer technology of fiber reinforced pits. Yes. Next, please. So these compact pits, these compact pits, as you can see, there are vents at the bottom, and you can always remove waste ready compost from the bottom. So laborious work has been reduced to a great extent. We'll go next. So under the guidance of BARC, we initiated a coconut pit and shell shredding unit. This coconut pit, cocoa pit, is very popular. Next. Then comes the next step and very important in organic waste management is biogas plant. So with the help of Dr. Sharat Kale from BARC, who's our mentor and a good friend, he introduced biogas technology to us. He trained our waste pickers, and now our waste pickers are managing and maintaining these biogas plants on various places. We'll go next. Yeah. So working with them, I'll give quickly, we are associated with more than 5,000 waste pickers, and we are not only dependent on composting, but housekeeping, gardening, etc. is also there. The biggest thing that we thought we are helping out is in grooming them, because like expectations of people, like having polite behavior and have good work culture, all that was a very tall order for illiterate waste pickers. So our grooming helped them in settling down with the middle class residents and our consumers. Yeah, next please. So we had a mixed bag of experiences. The litmus test was in a Varli Kolivada, that's the area where we had, absolutely no, you can say, a positive opinion about composting or segregation at source. But our coordinators and supervisors did an excellent job. They managed residents as well as 50 odd waste pickers. Parisar Bhaginis in maintaining and focusing, keeping good relations and keep their cool while handling for these areas. Yes, next please. And by the end of third year, when project was nearing completion, there was a complete turnout in their opinion. We had almost 100% segregation in that area. And for the farewell function, we witnessed hall overflowing with grateful and appreciating residents from the neighborhood. And that, I think, is a good achievement. I mean, in 3 years, you have so much of a shift. Earlier, this is the zero waste campuses. We have more than 150 small and big residential colonies and other campuses where our people are working. We are running almost 50 biogas plants in and around. SMS has contributed significantly in making campuses like Messina Hospital, Tata Institute, etc., near zero or zero waste campuses. Yeah. So to spread messages, we have all the mediums available, right from street plays to plays. I mean, anything and everything, talks, plays, street plays, films, songs, publications, social media, etc. Next. Another very unique feature that we have is garbage gallery. Under one roof, we have biogas plant, composting unit, water recycling plant, solar panels, and all this is under one roof. And very uniquely, special feature is museum, displaying and explaining various types of waste management practices, what is waste, e-waste, and everything. And this garbage gallery is, I think, one of its kind in India also. Yeah, we'll go next. So we have people, students practicing what you can say, the composting from the colleges. Next, please. Yeah. And very important and last slide is challenges. This is the real, I mean, the road to zero waste is not easy. Challenges has been discussed before also, yesterday also. So I would like to, let me look at this. Very importantly, funding that we have discussed, so I will not go into details. We try to get Persisar Bhagini's jobs, that also I have already spoken. So because secondly, BMC doesn't really, there are very strict policies on paper, but when it comes to implementation level, the things are very poor. I mean, we feel sorry to say that, but the reality is this, that we are not really practicing what has been told to us. And transportation, another demotivating factor for source level composting is carrying mixed waste by the vehicles, government vehicles. So those who are diligently segregating waste at home, when they see their waste getting mixed and carried to dumping ground, it's a very demotivating factor. So that is one of the major challenge that we see. And to tell you very frankly, experience is a mixed bag. There are pluses, there are minuses. With thousands of baskets, hundreds of sites for composting and biomethanization, SMS is fully engaged in the drive for decentralization of organic waste. So with this, thank you so much. It was pleasure again. And do visit, this is a picture of our training center. Whenever you come to Mumbai, do let us know and do visit our gallery and the green building. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And first and foremost, advance congratulations for the 50 years to be. Yeah. And I think what you're shown is we are talking about scale of 14 million people. So it clearly shows these works at scale, these solutions work at scale if they are properly implemented, and there are policy reforms, as you told you. It is done, this can be implemented. So yeah, really good start to the panel. And now I would like to ask Dr. P. N. Damodaran to present on the model which they implemented in Gram Panchayat in Kerala.
Good morning to everyone. And I'm representing my institute, Integrated Rural Technology Center from Kerala. So this Integrated Rural Technology Center is founded by a people science movement, which is very actually working in Kerala for the past 7 decades, which is Kerala Shastra Sahitya Parishat. Let me quote from, start from Mr. Manoj, that he was studying about mutants and mutations, but let me tell about mutagen. KSSP is one of the mutagens worked actively in Kerala. There are a lot of victims of the mutagens. Maybe they was lot of people. Okay, it's like KSSB has acted wisely and wildly in Kerala to make people to think differently. And I am also a victim of that mutagen. Okay. I'm basically a microbiologist. I did my PhD, and like she said, the 50 years. Today is my 20th year of completing my PhD. I just remembered the day, and very happy for that. So, um, since I do work with microbes, I started my work in IRTC about almost 7 years back, and I started working with composting and biogas both. So since we work with, next slide, so we can just skip it first slides. Yeah, next one. So since we work with the microorganisms and to speed up the process of composting, so we have developed different microbial compositions for our planes, and we got an opportunity to work in Munnar. As many of you know, that Munnar is a different exotic place in Kerala where the temperatures goes to sub-zero, and there we have tried composting, and this was a UNDP project, and we tried composting there with the normal micro inoculum microbial consortium which we used to, but that won't work there due to the low temperature. So we set up an experiment. Next slide. We set up an experiment plot there. Next one. Next one. So I don't want to ask her to stop me. I will stop first. Okay. Next one. Yeah. We set up an experimental plot there in Munnar as a part of our research, and we tried to develop a microbial consortium which works there in low temperatures in the night and moderate temperature in the daytime. That's the situation in Munnar. The temperatures goes up to sub-zero in the night, and in the daytime that comes up to 10, 12, 14 degrees. So we made a model structure there, and we try to isolate microorganisms from there itself, from the debris there. And there was actually in Munnar, this place is called Kallar. There was a large dumping place, unauthorized dumping place to say. Actually, Mr. Saji Sebastian is the one who removed the legacy waste from there once. Okay, so from there, I have identified certain microorganisms which can work for make the composting process faster. And I brought it back to my lab. I developed it and made sure that they are not pathogenic. And we have developed this one and tried their enzymatic activity, and we have taken them back to Munnar, and we tried it there. So, in my experience, we could make the total composting, as sir would say, like theoretically in our experimental stage, we could complete the composting within 30 days. But we wouldn't recommend that. We didn't recommend that. We said that it will take 45 days to compost. And with this successful model, we handed over our DPR to the Munnar Gram Panchayat and to UNDP, because this was going through the UNDP thing. And they have established a system. Next one. The next one. Okay. They have established a system in Munnar where we can process 3 to 4 tons of bio-waste a day. And this is almost now 1.5 years. It's running successfully with the specialized microbial consortium what we are producing in our lab and sending to Munnar. We use coir pith as a substrate for the microbial consortium, and as she told in her presentation as well, we use our coir pith for several years. We are using coir pith as a substrate and to absorb water from compost. So that's been practiced in Kerala to make more aerated and to reduce the leachate and everything. So here also we use the coir pith. We add about 150 to 200 kilos of coir pith, mixed microbial consortium for every ton of bio waste. And within 40 days, this bio waste, since it's an heterogeneous bio waste from the what to say, markets and other. Even there are chicken waste and all other food waste, bio waste, all other my bio waste. So since it's a heterogeneous waste, they get a very good quality compost that's with a very decent CN ratio and having a very decent NPK value. Sorry, I didn't add those values here. And we are supporting the Munnar Gram Panchayats for selling that in packets called, they say it's enriched biomanure made by Munnar Gram Panchayat, and they are selling to the farmers there, plantations there. And this is going now, it's like it's a very sustainable model, because there are about 8 workers working full time on this compost yard. But the panchayats doesn't have to bother about their salary, because they get sufficient money from the compost what they sell. So this is a kind of sustainable system. And again, about 3 to 4 tons of bio waste are being processed. So I don't want to discuss more about the connection between the waste and climate. Has been discussed several times. So the 3 to 4 tons of bio waste which was being converted into methane or other GHGs are now, for the past about 1.5 years, being processed properly, and they are successfully running this system. So this is my experience with how we use science for a better climate, or to a better composting in a shorter way. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much for the presentation, sir. And I think what it has, I think the presentation brought me to the topic. One of the line which Mr. Roshan from Zero Waste Himalayas made yesterday. While we shouldn't make the solutions universal. The universality different because of there are different conditions. While the composting is one that might suit to one condition, and this can't be applied. The same one can't be applied to the conditions which like Munnar, where it goes to zero sometimes the temperature. So it is good that we are not only showing the scale of the solutions, but also different conditions where it can work the solutions. Yes.
Actually, we have one more experience of this different kind of waste. Like say that in Guruvayur, they have the elephant dung, which they have 46 elephants at this moment. So they make a lot of waste. So we have made a different microbial consortium system, and there is a little different protocol to convert this elephant dung into compost. That's being implemented now.
Thank you, Tam. Thank you so much for telling that. And it shows the diverse solutions we have that can work under different conditions. Without further delay, I would like to ask Ms.Sherryl Nolasco to present the excellent work that they are doing in Barangay Potrero.
Hello, good morning and good day to everyone. I am the Barangay Chairman of Barangay Potrero, City of Malabon in the Philippines. I am here to present our what we do in our barangay in the implementation of waste segregation. Okay, so our barangay has 44,000 individuals as of 2023. And we are the largest barangay among the 21 barangays in the city of Malabon. We have 80 waste warriors or waste workers. And for almost 10 years or 9 years, 9+ years, we are implementing the the solid waste management. Next slide. So here is our map. So as you can see in the map, the red part or the red marks in the map is a river that is connected in our barangay to another city. And the river is called Tulyahan River. So the red mark is the indicator that the area is flooded or a flood risk area in our barangay. So every time that there's a typhoon, half of our barangay is submerged to flood. Next. So in 2014, Barangay Potrero signed a memorandum of agreement with Mother Earth Foundation Mother Earth Foundation was introduced to us by our Senator, Lauren Legarda, who is a resident of our barangay. And since 2014, for 8 months, they help us to create a system for solid waste management. And in 2015, we won the Best in Solid Waste Management in Metro Manila. And we brought home 2 million pesos as a prize. So what we do as a zero waste community, so zero waste means, next slide. In the Philippines, zero waste is not equal to no garbage. Zero waste means in Tagalog, walang sayang. So it means there's a place for every waste that is generated. Nothing is wasted. So what we do, first we create and adopt an ordinance. In 2015, the Barangay Council enacted an ordinance establishing a Barangay Ecological Solid Waste Management Program. Next. So we do house-to-house collection. We have 35 waste warriors or waste collectors. 9,098 households segregate their waste at home. So we have the help from the neighborhood leaders or from the neighborhood associations. So they're the one who's putting their garbage in the cart of our waste warriors. Out of the households, all in all, in our barangay, we only have 83% of the total households in our barangay practicing waste segregation. So from Monday to Saturday, the collection is from 2 to 4 hours per day. Next. So we have also the waste monitors. We have 17 waste monitors. Mostly are women and a member of LGBT. The one at the end of the picture is a member of the LGBT group. He is pregnant, 19 months pregnant. No, that's a joke. So they started as volunteers. Ladies Brigade in our barangay. So they are leaders in every area. So we hired them, especially because they are good and they are the most talkative person in their area. So we hired them to work in our barangay. So we converted them to monitor the waste every day in our barangay from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. And after the 10 a.m. collection, they maintain our material recovery facility. Next. So after they monitored, we do a daily reporting inside. We have a group chat. So every day, they send the pictures of what they have collected in every household. So we use this app for recording and to communicate daily. And they also submit their daily sheet of reports of what they have collected in every household. So we also did this our own IEC material that our residents can put up on their walls or doors. And our monitors are the one who is responsible for teaching the residents in their assigned area. So this material is made by my sister, Kate. And every day, next. So every day, they are roaming around the areas where they are scheduled to do the information education campaign. Next. So with the help also of the ordinance that we have made, through enforcement, we enforce the ordinance through the efforts of our eco police and civilian police. So if someone dropped their garbage along the street and we caught them, we have to ask them to pay the fine of at least 500 pesos for the first offense. For the second offense is 1,000 pesos. And for the third offense is 3,000 pesos. For the fourth offense, we offer them if still they are willing to pay the fine, or we will turn them into compost. So that's the only option. So right away, they will have paid the fine. Next slide. So here are our monitors and the eco police in our barangay. Next. And this is our materials recovery facility. This is where we store our recyclables and showcase different composting methods. And how we manage our organic waste. The Department of Science and Technology donated a bioreactor for organics. Because of this, we are now processing over 330 kilograms of biodegradable waste and 160 kilograms of dry waste daily. Next. So we measure the wet waste from each area by weighing the collected biodegradables per monitor. Next. And what we do with the compost, we sell the compost to our residents and other barangays, and of course to our visitors. We donate them to the schools, and also we use them to the greening program of our barangay. And because we are the social media capital of the world, we are lacking for the supply of sawdust. So one day my sister posted in the Facebook, in our Facebook page, that we are looking for sawdust or kusot in the Philippines. But again, we are very lucky because someone from a woodcraft factory donated their sawdust in our barangay. So every day we don't have to look for a sawdust to be mixed in our biodegradables. Next. So we continuously do information education campaign through seminars in our public schools and of course to the youth organization and neighborhood associations in our barangay. In July 2024, we were hit by a typhoon in Metro Manila. So the flood goes up to 20 feet high in our barangay. So after the flood, here is what remained in our area, plastic and garbage. So because of the Tulyahan River overflowed and all the garbage from the upstream went to our barangay because we are a catch basin along Tulyahan River. So if the nearby communities doesn't have any solid waste management, we are still affected even if we pursue to manage and segregate our waste at source. So we have to aim for, everyone must aim for a nationwide and global commitment to implement an effective zero waste initiative. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms.Sherryl. Actually, I had the privilege in 2018 through Zero Waste Academy, which Gaia conducts, to visit these places in San Fernando and Potrero. So they do amazing work, like very systematic, and we hope we can also achieve that here as well. And regarding the fines, we are not sure because we are already losing half of our money through taxes, and now the other half through will be fines because I don't think fines will work here in India. Okay, now. So now I would like, now we have looked at the city level, at the Gram Panchayat level, and at Barangay level, which is like a small town if you compare it in India with the population of 44,000. Now we look at the ward level, how this can be done or what are the challenges they face. So I would hand over to Ms. Sandya Narayanan.
Thank you. While my presentation is getting loaded, thank you very much for having me here. It's a pleasure to be in the middle of such committed, passionate army of people working all across and to have a sharing of ideas. I represent an organization called the Solid Waste Management Roundtable. We formed ourselves as a group in 2009. We are a collective of SWM practitioners. We take pride in calling ourselves as practitioners because we first practice it and then build a model out of it and then check the pilot and then the scaling up and then went into the policy. So we literally kind of worked bottom up. And it was only after, and you know, we are a very opinionated bunch, and only after everyone was really convinced that it worked and there was a practical solution, were we actually as a group taking it forward to talk to the municipality and present it as a solution. But that approach has worked because we've had to solve for everyone's challenges. my filter, the way I see something is very different from the way someone who is living in another area or a terrain. So it had to solve for all of these. And, the benefit of that compilation, this is a very, a strategy kind of approach that I'm representing. And I am aware that you all are expected as a field trip tomorrow to the Learning Center, where we have a demonstration of all these various units, which you will actually be able to see. So we invite you there to be actually able to have a look at it. So today what we are talking about will mainly be like a strategic or a policy approach as to why is it so difficult for municipalities to take up the concept of zero waste and actually approach the problem in a way in which they're able to look at it as, this is the quantum, I have a bucket of waste, I need to be able to solve for this bucket of waste. Take that exponentially at a ward level and then at a city level. So that is really the approach that I'm trying to present to you. My good friend Dr. Manoj was the person with whom I had this aha moment about a zero discharge ward, and we worked a bit like mad people on the ground to kind of arrive at some of these combinations. Over a period, the compilation of the approaches that you're seeing here is not something that has come out of any one organization. We are a citizen network initiative. And our learning has been through cross-learning of various champions who have done amazing work. Like we've seen here already 3 different types or models of working. So we've picked up the good points from everyone across Bangalore city, across everywhere else, and arrived at the conclusion that it is possible for us to actually have a solution for every stream of waste, and you have to solve for every stream of waste or in every target group if you want to achieve the overall goal of a zero waste, a zero discharge ward. So a ward in the Indian context, for those of you who are not aware, is basically a constituency or an administration block, which in Bangalore is the size of about anywhere starting from about 15,000 households, goes up to about 30,000 households. So when we talk about a ward, the quantity that we're representing is anywhere from 15,000 to about 30,000 households, which on an average generates anywhere from about 12 tons to about 30 tons a day. So that is the kind of size that we're looking at. And if you imagine your neighborhood, there are different kinds. I mean, the demographics are different, the terrain is different. So we are trying to capture all of that in this. How do we achieve this as a plan to implement a zero discharge ward? Can you just go back, please? So the goal of the zero discharge ward is we have to achieve wet waste processing within the ward. So imagine visually that that circle that you see is actually the geographical limit of your ward. What we have to achieve within that is the end goal. All of us know by SWM principles that 5% or 10% is what should go to the landfill. Now, we are looking at it from a city perspective. We are trying to break that down to, can we make the problem smaller by saying that 15,000 households or 30,000 households should not be sending out more than 5 to 10% of the waste to the landfill. All dry waste must be recovered and all sanitary waste has to be collected and managed. So one of the important things in managing this whole thing has been to move away from what was earlier a two-way segregation to a three-way segregation. It was important for us to understand that it is important for you to have organic separately, of course, and in that there are so many different types of organic waste. Then there is the overall umbrella of the dry waste, and very importantly, there has to be a separate channel for sanitary waste collection. So to achieve that, we need to have 100% door-to-door collection. Many of us, have already showcased that in the models that they're doing, how to collect and transport the segregated waste, how to improve the ward level infrastructure, and how do we create small units of citizen participation who can help to achieve it, because everything cannot be done by the municipality. And finally, the important demonstration of that whole thing is visual cleanliness. So the key factors for success is there have to be good best practices that we are able to adopt, which means we are constantly learning. Suitable solutions to handle every kind of waste. I may be handling 1 kilo in my home. Somebody is handling 200 kilos. We talked of 3 to 4 tons. It goes up to maybe 10 tons, which we're talking about coconut shredder. So the solutions that we have to be scalable and fitting to the quantum of waste that's getting generated. It has to be viable and sustainable, goes without saying. There has to be a concept of user fee so that there is a transactional kind of a environment where people are accountable for the waste they generate. There has to be a complaint redressal model. And finally, there has to be a community participation where there is pride in saying that my ward is a zero discharge ward. So we broke it down, and over a period of time, this did not happen linear. We solved for some before and then went back and solved for others. But for purposes of presentation, I'm going from small to big. So the first is home composting, of course, which is a done deal. All of us know that we handle anywhere between half a kilo to 1 kilo very comfortably, and there are enough solutions on the ground for us to be able to handle this at the home level. Then comes a very interesting model called as a lane composting, which you will be looking at tomorrow, where about 50 households are able to manage about 25 kilos of their waste through a common agreement that they will place these lane composters in various vantage locations, and it's fed into. Then comes the next level, which is a microshed composting, which also Dr. Damodaran pointed out about how they are managing for a slightly larger group of people. This could also happen in an in situ level, what we call as either an apartment or a temple or a college or a campus. So that's where you would have a microshed composting kind of concept. A very important problem that we face is the problem of leaf fall and biomass that gets generated. And this is huge. And we find it a gross waste. I mean, Dr. Manoj talked about carbon footprint, but imagine the amount of money that municipalities spend in putting this street sweeping material into compactors and sending them 75 kilometers somewhere away for it to get composted. So one of the first things we felt that needed to get addressed was what are the leaf composting models or the biomass composting models that we can handle. And very often in most wards, it goes up to about 4 tons, 5 tons a day, which is almost the size, quantity of a single compactor. So we are actually spending good taxpayers' money to send out this leaf material to a landfill, which should actually get managed within the ward. Then comes the larger ward processing of, kind of facilities. Here, what you're seeing here is a containerized biometh option. There are any number of biometh options. It's a factor of how much land can we find within the ward level. And there is also a very interesting concept called as pre-processing, where you do the pulverization, you create a hub and spoke, and then you send the slurry to a centralized facility where you can handle up to 50 tons. And this solves for the problem of where there is no land. So it's not for a dearth of solutions. These exist, they're showcased, they're already shown to be viable. What is missing is the planning of putting all of these together as a total plan. And if we were to imagine that the administrator of your ward would be able to imagine that my ward generates, anywhere between 15 and 30 tons, I assume that 20% of my homes are willing to do home composting, or I push as a target over a 5-year time frame for 20% of my homes to do home composting. Another 20% gets taken up through lane and microshed composting. And the balance will either be actual processing or pre-processing. If I did that, I would be able to achieve 90%. Now, this is not a switch. We all know it's a journey. But even if we saw on paper a plan where we saw a 5-year plan or a 10-year plan with an eye on building the infrastructure to achieve each of these, with an eye on creating the IC materials and the kind of work that Sri Mukti Sanghatana is doing about going house to house, talking to people, converting them, it would be possible to actually break down and chip away at these targets and to achieve it. But instead, what are we doing today? It's the reverse. 10% is getting handled within the ward, and we are spending taxpayers' money to send 90% out to a centralized facility or to a landfill. So that's really the, and the big one is also about how can we promote in situ composting. There has to be a mandate which says that if you are, and fortunately now in India we have the SWM rules 2016, which mandate that if you are generating more than 100 kilos of waste, or if you're sitting on a land size which is 5,000 square meters, which typically any corporate campus or a temple or a institution has, you should manage that waste on site and not send it out. And there are enough number of composting models to actually take care of that. So if we were to do that, that would contribute a further, target. All biomass has to be composted within the ward. It's a crime for us to be putting it into a compactor and to be sending it outside for composting. So it should be 100% game. And if we were to actually work with this like a jigsaw puzzle and move these various solutions, we are extremely confident looking at the robust solutions that exist on the ground, that it is actually possible for us to achieve the zero discharge ward concept. And while I'm telling you that in the city, those of you who have been reading the newspapers, for the last 2 days, there have been no pickups because the landfill areas have shut down. And we in Bangalore, like many other cities, constantly keep facing this challenge where because the landfill shuts down, people are, immobilized. But really is that, all of us know that there are enough solutions for us to handle the organic waste management at a home level, at a lane level, at a in situ level, and at a ward level. Why are we still so dependent upon the concept of having a vehicle that comes to our doorstep and takes it away, and away from our site to do something with it which we don't know? So this is a battle that I'm sure all of you are also facing in your individual areas. But this is said with a conviction of practice that we know this is possible. This is not academic. And tomorrow when you come and visit us and see the demonstration models that we have there, you will know for sure that it is possible for us to achieve 100% zero discharge ward. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Sandya. I think you rightly put, the problems might be many, but we have the solutions for it. And also, it's not the death of the solutions, it's all things putting together is the biggest thing which we have to do. I think we can definitely use this platform of Regional Organic Congress to do work like this, to put things together and show to the administration officials to make their work easy a little. Yeah, definitely. And we are also looking forward to tomorrow's tour as well. Yeah, thank you so much. Have the time for questions?
Yeah. So let's go for the Q&A.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll summarize.
So let's take 2 questions, and please limit your questions for questions, not discussions, and indulge in the discussions. Use the tea break time and space and lunch breaks for discussions. And for the questions, please.
Yeah. So good morning. I'm Xuân from Vietnam Zero Waste Alliance, and thank you for the presentation. I would like to have one question. In the on a presentation, I heard about the the tip for success is the user fee. So my question is, how can you get permission to get the user fee, and how much is the cover for the waste management in the project?
We will answer all the questions at one point.
Yeah, we can do that.
Second question.
So second question I will just ask. So hi everyone, I'm Rajesh from Waste Warriors, and thank you everyone here. So my question is, because we also run a decentralized model in Corbett Ramnagar, Tiger Reserve. So there we have 23 Paryavaran Sakhis which are working in Gram Panchayats and collecting dry waste twice a month. So every 15 days. So there the finding system won't work, as Vamsi said, because the Gram Panchayat is from like own Panchayat and he will not do that. And the user fees is also very minimal because the people think like we're also giving you our valuable waste and also we are giving the user fees. So both the ways it can't work. But this decentralized model, it has lots of expenses like processing sanitary waste, medical waste, also landfill tipping fees, all of that. So my question is, how can this model be sustainable, and also how can the women who are already working in this can earn a good money? I feel just doing waste thing, they won't be able to good money. So what are the other options they can explore? So this suggestion I just want to make one comment also. Like I have read somewhere that sawdust is carcinogenic. So if you're using that with the compost, I think plants will have that. And also a small request to make, because in hotels, I mean inside the rooms there are pet bottles and all. So if we become a little mindful not to use those pet bottles, tissue papers, and paper cups while we are having, because I have seen activists and practitioners doing that like here only. So please be very mindful for that. Yeah, thank you so much.
So one last question here. Yeah.
Yeah, you got it. I have one for Sherryl and Mr. Damodaran. Mr. Sherryl, as asked by him also, why do you want sawdust and why were you running behind sawdust? Is my first question, because unless you know the carbon nitrogen value, because sawdust is only lignin, it is full of carbon. Why are you adding so much of carbon in a mixed waste? You can answer now or later when we have it, but I want to tell people, just don't blindly add things because somebody tells it. Second thing is, Mr. Damodaran, you are developed a consortium. You have added a consortium. And you said it's 30 days normally happens. So it goes through a mesophilic, then a thermophilic, mesophilic, again turn over thermophilic, mesophilic, and then comes back. Have you monitored your consortium as to what happens till the end? Is the same microorganism consortium continues till the end because it goes through all these phases? Is it possible?
I'm not just taking all the audiences for the subsidy. Those who can sustain that and interfere the
Because we don't recommend any such consortium, because I don't want anybody to take a feeling that you got to buy something from somewhere to do composting. You can do composting with whatever you have and still be successful. That's the only thing I would like to tell. Thank you.
For the first question on user fee, Ms. Sandya will answer.
Yeah, I think your question was, how is it possible to actually implement user fee? We've had a long, I can only talk from the Indian context, we've had a very long battle on this whole thing. And fortunately, we have been successful in bringing in the permission, the rules approve that municipalities can implement user fee. This is the central act. And this has happened with a lot of battle on the ground. But in 2016, finally, the SWM rules do allow municipalities to implement the user fee model. How much of it is actually implemented? It's a federal system, so are the states and other cities actually implementing it? Yes and no. Because again, it's a political decision. A lot of people, the administrators are very conscious about the fact that it will be treated as a burden to the population. There's one more cess, one more tax to be paid, and it gets resisted. It has taken us a lot of time for us to reach in Bangalore that level of acceptance. In fact, we've had a lot of this ding-dong battle with the administration and all of that. There are some of us who believe, knowing fully well that systems are not viable until and unless user fees are collected, because operations and maintenance are not supported by municipalities because they run out of money. The biggest failure of waste management in most cases have been because they have not been able to pay the operations and maintenance costs, because most of the money is going towards collection and transportation. So in order for that to be, and also, it's like a disincentive that we have finally, people have started recognizing that you have to make this as a transactional thing where you make people aware. Otherwise, they think the road is free. And anything that you generate in the home, you can go and put it out. Whereas when you start charging, and I feel that I'm paying $100 or $200 for it, I'm very conscious as has my service been provided to me for it. So then I start making the service provider accountable to me, because I'll ask him, I'm paying you money, why aren't you turning up? So this understanding, I think, finally has come in the minds of administrators, and we are in a metro like Bangalore, we are finally looking at the possibility of user fees being implemented. A little different from the landfill which somebody else talked about. That's a tipping fee concept. We are not talking about the tipping fee model here. This is user fee, which is actually being paid for by the occupier of the property, different from property tax, which is paid for by the owner of the property. So the differentiation there is, I may be renting the place because there is no, I don't pay anything for it. Again, it was looking as a free service and it was getting mistreated. Now with the user fee, I may be the owner, I may be the renter, but I still have to pay something for the service of garbage collection. It makes me conscious about it. It makes me expect the service from the municipality. And that is the logic why we have pushed for user fees. And I think we are in a good place because the municipality is willing to go through with it. What was the second? I mean, I'm differentiating from tipping
First
fee and landfill
Yeah.
fee. That's a totally different thing.
Rural development also, all the villages have to pay, whether small or big. Kerala is paying 100%, even in village, and in Pune also for many years.
Rajesh, I hope your question is also answered on the user fee.
Hello. Yeah. So my question was for the decentralized system, there is already so much of operation, maintenance, and all those costs is involved. So how do you make it sustainable? Because we can't expect much of user fees from the users. First is that, and also the workers, they have to be financially stable, right? So that was my question. Like, what other things we can do apart from waste within the waste sector? Because currently our ladies, our Paryavaran Sakhi, they are just doing dry waste collection. And if they enter into wet waste, that will cost them extra operational and all those things. Yeah, thanks.
Okay, to answer your question, what we do practice in Kerala is that for the non-bio waste, what they collected by the Haritha Karma Sena, the non-bio waste, what they collect and segregate and sell, that income goes to their salary. Okay, that's one part. And another part is that is one which we have successfully done in Kundankulam municipality. This same Haritha Karma Sena is supporting in processing the bio waste at homes by supplying the microbial consortium inoculum for the households. And they are doing one more thing. For those who need the grow bags to plant saplings or plants, they supply that grow bags also. And they monitor those also. And all those additional income is divided for the Haritha Karma Sena, that they have made into a kind of self-help group, and all the income is pooled for them. So it's like a self-sustainable thing. And for the case, like as I said about Munnar, there what they are doing is that all the money what they get from selling the compost, that is used for the salary of the workers. So it's running like as I know, it's like more about 19 to 20,000 they are getting in Munnar.
Yeah, we will discuss. I think we are having break after this. We will discuss in person, Rajesh. Okay, in the interest of the time. Okay, I would like to summarize by saying I think we have heard all the different models at different level: Gram Panchayat level, ward level, small town level, city level, like Mumbai, which is a 14 million population. So I would like to thank each one of my guests for their presentation, and each one of you as well for the attention. And I think I would like to congratulate Gaya Hasirdala, because I think they have done at the right point of time to have this regional organic congress, because we have seen that there are solutions and we have to document this and present to them, to the administrator, that there are these solutions which will work at scale at different conditions. Because I think then we can use this platform, because only of enough of us pull together, only the politically impossible, which is the policy reforms, can happen. So let's use this platform, and thank you everyone.
So thank you, panelists. Now I request Archana to give us a token of appreciation to our esteemed panelists. And let's have a group photo.